This video I'm going to show you how to get this lab started. We'll do this in class if you're here. If you missed class, this is a great video to help you stay caught up. So this is the lab that we're doing. You'll notice down here, here's a list of all the chemicals we're using. The reason I'm bringing this up is because all of these chemicals, all of these compounds, they're all dissolved in water. So they are all aqueous. That's going to be really important for this lab. They're all aqueous. So that'll save you some time when we're setting up the lab to know that all the reactants we're using are aqueous to start with. And then we're going to be checking to see if they all stay aqueous or one of the products that forms is a solid, because then that is our precipitate. So when you do the lab, you're going to end up filling out this table. It's all dropper bottles. So you're going to end up mixing AgNO3 from a dropper bottle with Ki, recording your results. That's what you're going to do in this table. So then you'll mix NaCl with AgNO3 and so forth. And then you're going to mix lead nitrate, lead 2 nitrate with all of these as well. But what we're going to be doing first before you do the lab is you're going to write the reaction with silver nitrate with potassium iodide. Then you're going to write the reaction of silver nitrate with sodium chloride, and you're going to write silver nitrate with all of the rest of the compounds on this side here. So here's where we write it. You flip the page over. Here's where you write out all the reactions with silver nitrate. And notice that sidebar that I just circled terribly on the last page is all right here, so that you don't have to flip back and forth. So to start with, you're going to be mixing silver nitrate with everything. So let's just take a second here to write out silver nitrate all the way down. There we go. So with the power of editing here, they're all done, so you don't have to watch me write them all down. So it's going to be silver nitrate all the way down. Now silver nitrate in the first example, you're going to mix it with potassium iodide. So Ki, then you're going to go ahead and the next one is with NaCl. And leave a little bit of space after all of the compounds, because we're going to be adding something there. Then NaOH. Oh, sorry, I'm trying to write too fast. It's looking terrible. FeCl3, and I'll let you go ahead and finish that. You see the pattern now. Then you got the arrow. So now here's where the real work comes in. Now you have to figure out what products are on this side of the reaction. We've got our reactants. Now, these are all double replacement reactions, so you can start, here we go, let's hold on a second. Let's just make it blue. You can start by just basically taking the first element in each compound and switching them around. So I know Ag is going to be with I. Now when Ag is with I check the charges, +1, -1. So that actually balances. Then I go, potassium is going to be with NO3. Now this one's convenient too. We've got a +1 and a -1 charge. So that one balances too. That will not be the case with all of them, especially when we get down to here. Let's actually do number 4 together. We'll switch Ag and Fe. So Ag is going to be with Cl. Now notice there's a 3 here. I did not bring that 3 with, because I got to check the charges, +1, -1. That actually balances. So if I have that 3 there, it no longer balances. So never carry those with. Now the 3 for NO3 is different because that's a part of a polyatomic. That comes with. So now I've got Fe and I've got NO3. I know those two are together. I also know that the Fe has a +3 on this side, so it also has a +3 on this side. And I can check that because chlorine's a -1. 3 chlorines makes the iron a +3. Nitrate has a -1 charge. So I'm going to need parentheses, and I need 3 of these. So you're going to go through and do that for all of the rest of them. That's your job for number 5. There is one more step here. Let's change my pen color once more, just to keep things separate and neat. Let's go with that one. Okay, so the next step is you are going to go through and check whether each one of these compounds is soluble in water or not. So we're going to look at Ag and I, silver iodide. So you check your yellow sheet. You're going to go down here at this point. You go down here and you find silver. All the positive charges are on the left-hand side. All the negatives are on the top. So you find silver, and you've got iodide. So I go down all the way until I get to the silver one. So this shows that it is insoluble. That means that it does not dissolve in water. So if it's insoluble, that means I put an S behind my compound. If it's soluble, that means I put an AQ. So if it's insoluble, I go back. I know that this is going to be a solid. That will be my precipitate. So I expect to have a precipitate for this reaction. Then let's check our next one, KNO3. So potassium. Where's potassium? There it is. Potassium, and then it's nitrate. So I go across, nitrate, I go down, and it is soluble. This one's soluble, so I know that KNO3 is going to be aqueous. It is going to be found dissolved in the solution. So I put an S after this, an AQ after this. Now here's where I gave you a hint at the very beginning of the video. All of the reactants are in dropper bottles. They're all dissolved in water. So if you look them up on the yellow sheet here, they're all going to land on an S, which means they're all going to be AQ. We know that because they're in the dropper bottles. They have to be dissolved in water to be there. There's no solids in the dropper bottles. So I'll save you a lot of time by just telling you to go ahead. You can put AQ in behind all of the reactants without having to look them up. But the products, you do not know what those are yet, so you have to check those. So let's do another one, AgCl here. Ag, silver, and you'll notice that looking at the silver, a lot of the silvers do not dissolve. They're all insoluble. Chloride, silver chloride, and silver chloride happens to be one of those insoluble ones. So I would put an S after silver chloride. Iron nitrate. Now notice this is iron with a +3 charge, so I have to make sure I'm on iron 3, not iron 2. And then that was nitrate, so I go across, nitrate, go across. That one is soluble, so I would put an AQ after this one. So go ahead, you'll have to finish the rest, find all the products, and then decide if they're soluble or aqueous by looking at the yellow sheet. The next section, you're going to be working with lead nitrate, so it's the exact same thing, but now you're going to put lead nitrate for all of these, plus Ki goes to, and then figure that out. Then you do the same thing, lead nitrate. Make sure you write it out each time, and then NaCl. Go ahead, write those out. So that is step 6. You'll write all of them out for, so lead nitrate will go all the way down. These you'll put into here, and then you got to do some figuring out to figure out what goes on the product side. And then you got to put an AQ or an S behind them all. And that is then the same thing for number, I believe it's 7 as well. You got the third compound. Let's go back up here. So then the last section. Oh, hold on. The last section you'll have to do them all with CaCl2, calcium chloride. So if you're at home, you can get those done on your own time, and then when you come back, it'll make staying caught up a lot easier.